Most slave auctions took place once Africans arrived in America from slave ships. They would be auctioned to the highest bidder during a slave auction. Auctions were usually advertised with printed posters and/or in newspaper ads that included the printed names of the enslaved, their ages, and any qualifications or special skills they had. By 1850, the average cost of a slave was $800, though skilled slaves in field hands could be sold for up to $2,000. In preparation to be sold, the enslaved were washed, shaved, and rubbed with palm oil to hide sores and wounds. Once they arrived at the auction site, slaves were examined with little care for their lives, as they were usually ripped apart from their family members. The inspector will pull the mouths and eyes open, inspect ears, noses, teeth, and other body parts, looking for injury and sickness, as well as muscles and proper development. Once inspected, each person, one by one, will have their turn on the auction block. The auctioneer would then describe the slave to those interested, and the bidding would begin. Finally, each slave will watch in horror while their loved one would be sold to strangers who would take them to a new place where they would be forced to work without pay for a lifetime and probably never see their mother, father, or families again. And this was only the beginning.
In 1865, following the Union victory in the Civil War, the 13th Amendment was passed, legally ending slavery in the United States. Millions of men, women, and children were now freed from bondage. While the experiences of freed slaves varied, it is believed that the greatest priority for many was to reunite with separated family members and loved ones. Despite their freedom, former slaves faced multiple challenges. Most were illiterate and nearly all were penniless and did not own property. While the U.S. government initially supported these freed men through schools and training and provided protection, this support soon disappeared within approximately 10 years of the passage of the 13th Amendment. The era of Jim Crow segregation and the Ku Klux Klan took hold throughout the South. Additionally, most freedmen that did not own land or were denied a formal education were forced into an abusive system known as sharecropping, in which they spent the remainder of their lives working to pay off unreasonable debts from landowners. Also significant was the clause within the 13th Amendment that stated a system of slavery or involuntary servitude could still exist within the United States as a punishment for crime. This loophole was immediately exploited, and African Americans were arrested en masse for minor crimes like loitering or vagrancy. Now criminals, they were stripped of their freedom and either incarcerated in prisons or forced to provide free labor for the government. As a result of these abuses, former slaves may have been considered legally free, but they and their descendants were trapped in an unjust and oppressive system that resembled slavery in many ways.
Although both slavery and sharecropping have been abolished, the U.S. now maintains a system of involuntary servitude through mass incarceration. Today, the U.S. has 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. In the past 40 years, the prison population has exploded, growing from 300,000 to 2.3 million. While this dramatic increase is the result of several factors, one likely cause is money. For example, congressmen and women partner with organizations like ALEC, American Legislative Exchange Council, to introduce bills that make it easier to imprison non-violent criminals for lengthy terms. This benefits private prison complexes such as Corrections Corporation of America, CCA, which profit off of their inmates. The CCA and government prisons then use nearly free prison labor to make products for many large retailers, including Walmart, Whole Foods, and McDonald's. With more people in prison, more products are produced for less money, resulting in greater profits for the leaders of these companies and the private prisons. As a result, young people of color are overrepresented in private prisons where they are 3 times more likely to return to prison, allowing private corporations to make more money.